Hello, guys. It's your favorite, a PQ's fan. If you know, you know. My Latin teacher in my last year of Latin in high school made an apicius recipe. It was like a honey cake. It reminded me of Dominican arepas, which I think are sweet. Uh, but yeah. Anyway, today I want to talk about dieting as a disabled person. Now, for any person, this topic is, you know, kind of touchy, kind of, it's very personal for a lot of people. Um, but yeah, bro, I mean, what can I say? I've kind of already talked about my struggles with weight specifically, but not about the food, not about like what I ate. Um, and yeah, guys, I mean, it is kind of different as a disabled person. And the main thing that differs about dieting, and I recently went on a cut, I think uh, it's fairly noticeable. Like, if you go back and look at my videos from August, September, you can kind of tell in my face that I've been dropping a few pounds. But yeah, most of the reasons I dieted primarily were number one because I was already chunky and it was like kind of unhealthy for me, especially as a kid. And I've said this before, but as a kid, because I was cute and like, in Florida, they didn't really see that many canches, like light skinned Latino people. I got all the food, all the extra food from the lunch lady. They would buy me stuff outside of the regular lunches and add it to my plate and stuff like that. They would even buy me Yu-Gi-Oh cards, man. There's the real MVPs. Konami is the greatest, man. I mean, I don't play Yu-Gi-Oh anymore, obviously, but it was the early to mid 2000s. I was a Latino. Come on. uh, so so yeah, the first diet I ever went on was in 2006 because as a 7 or an 8-year old, I literally got esophagitis and acid reflux, guys. And like the doctors told my parents, they were like, "Hey, he needs to like go on a diet. Like it's not healthy for him to be this way, especially with his cerebral palsy." Um and so I did, and you know, during during that time, uh I kind of like reduced my portion sizes, and like, bro, I literally, the reason I got esophagitis was because I literally swallowed a whole carrot one time. Because I was rushing through my food. I used to eat so quickly, mainly because uh I wanted to play video games, honestly. Like that was the most common reason I would rush through my meals. At home, at school, it was just cuz everything in American schools is like built for efficiency, not actual socializing or enjoyment or like cultivating a healthy relationship with your food. It's just like, all right, get the kids in there and feed them. We don't care what it is. And I mean, we all know how American school lunches are. Although interestingly, in my later high school years, they started It wasn't a drastic increase in quality, but they started having salad bars, uh, taco bowls, literally, um, and fresher stuff. Um, but I also didn't live in a poor area anymore, so there's that. But um, yeah, and I stayed at basically a healthy weight for the next year and a half or so until I moved back with my dad to Florida, and my parents kind of like separated and later divorced for the last time. Like I mean we were even poorer because it was just my dad taking care. Now my mom would send money, but like my dad kind of mismanaged it. Anyway, we the only thing we could afford, especially since it was during the Great Recession at that point, was like the 50 cent to $1 TV dinners, which of course are just pumped full of chemicals, full of sodium. Uh and like they're not the greatest quality ingredients. And you know, my dad wouldn't tell me no. So um I was just eating a whole bunch of microwave stuff. Bro, I forget what brand they were, but these chimichangas, absolutely terrible. At a certain point, um, I literally just stopped liking them. Like again, you can see, bro, that like if your only food choices is you have to drive like 5 or 10 miles, or like Dollar General, which we live next to, that's the sure sign of the decline of Western civilization. Of at least American civilization. If you have a Dollar General near you, it's over. uh, and also a strip mall with Little Caesars. Actually, shout out to Little Caesars because honestly, back when I mean, Little Caesars is still kind of the goat because they're still around $5. I think it's like 5.50 now. Um, but even back then, bro, about because my dad worked like 12-hour shifts, like basically every single day. Around 2 or 3 days a week for the entirety that I lived with him, we would get Little Caesars because it's just. I mean, it's in the friggin' slogan, bro. $5 high and ready. But yeah, I mean, back then I obviously wasn't dying. And at the very beginning, I mean, bro, we were having huevos con salchicha, huevos con frijoles every single day, dog. So yeah, um, yeah. What can I say? But especially afterwards when I started visiting my mom during the summers in Maryland again. Um, I mean, because women are, generally, um, uh, on the average. I'm not saying every woman, of course, but on the average, they're just have less muscle mass. My mom, it was really hard for her even as a kid, even as a chubby kid, like for her to transfer me and stuff when she was bathing me and putting me in bed and getting me out of bed. And so like she had to be real with me and say like you're getting too big for me to carry, like too fat essentially. And You know, this was in around 2010, and so when we came back that that summer in excuse me in early August, because school in Florida, compared to the rest of the country, usually starts pretty early. We started in like mid August. Um, my dad basically for around 6 months put me on a diet, and I rapidly lost weight. And I mean, guys, the funny thing is that my dad is literally obese. Like, he's been obese for a large portion of his life. Even when he was a kid, he was a heavy set kid, like a lot of Latinos, man. Like, I have pictures of my dad from shortly after he was born, like 3, 4 years old, 1958, 1959, and even up to 5 years old, 1960, I think. And bro is bro looks like the Michelin Man. Um, I even have one where they made a pilgrimage to go see El Cristo Negro de Esquipulas, and bro is wearing a sailor's outfit, and I mean, he looks cute, but he's obviously very chunky. um, and yeah, but no, he made me, and I still remember the meals to this day: grilled tilapia with either Mr. Dash seasoning or Seven Spices, which he got from his work because at this point he was a cook at his assisted living facility. And I mean, I don't even think they sell Seven Spices in stores. I think that like it's kind of an exclusive Cisco product. Cisco, if you don't know, is the largest like bulk food and ingredient supplier to things like medical facilities and assisted living facilities. It has nothing to do with the IT company Cisco Systems, but I think that's where he got it from. Or grilled chicken and a variety of mixed vegetables with maybe a little bit of applesauce or pudding on the side for dinner. For and at school for lunch, because I was in middle school at this point, I pretty much almost exclusively got salads or veggie burgers every single day. And yeah, guys, combined with puberty, like me going through a growth spurt, although I'm not that tall, I'm short king, as you all know. But um I lost a ton of weight, and then at around the same time I also started working out. So I gained a ton of muscle mass too like for a disabled guy. But yeah, I just think that people don't really realize that, like, your size as a disabled person, especially if you're getting taken care of by your family, but even just like a caregiver, bro, because I mean, we obviously couldn't afford any of that stuff. And because of my what situation, it's not like we were getting Medicaid or any sort of help and stuff like that. Uh, Again, if all my immigrants out there, you know what I'm talking about. And so yeah, I mean, it's not just a matter of personal choice or whatever, right? It's like your your health, the ability to properly take care of you depends on another person. And especially if you're poor and can't afford a lot of equipment. Yes, we had charity from Shriners and St. Vincent de Paul Society for the most important stuff, but that couldn't do anything, or that couldn't do everything, right? They couldn't cover everything. Um, you have to diet for them, not just for you. Obviously, as working out started to become part of my daily routine, and like I started to like it as a hobby, as an activity, that obviously changed because it did started to be about me, and also, like many young men, getting girls. Um, yeah, it changed, but I mean, that's why I'm sometimes critical of stuff like body positivity, at least in the way it's framed. Number one, because it only kind of focuses around weight, and number two, yeah, sometimes it's not just about you. I understand people have like obvious conditions that predispose them towards that, and like certain genetic groups, because I'm a mestizo. Indigenous people, and the more like Mediterranean Spanish people, especially in the south, tend to be, more heavy set. I know, literally, because I'm in that group. So, um but yeah, it's just never really focused on, like, you know it's not just about you sometimes, and like, there is such a thing as being healthy and unhealthy. It's not good to just be totally subjective about these things, for real. And will these same people um be body positive about, you know disabilities and dating, physical disabilities and dating? Probably not. They'll probably be more disposed to say, like, oh, well, that's just preference, as I've said in other videos before. But it's kind of like, okay, well, I couldn't really help either my height or my this disability, so why is that just preference, but weight isn't? Doesn't really make sense. And when I dieted, one of the biggest things that I noticed was that, of course, I wasn't getting that much more attention, but people did start to change the way they treated me, especially um my fellow friends of the opposite gender in a lot of cases. Now, I only had eyes for one person at that time, but I have many, many Facebook messages from around that time of, like, girls kind of obviously flirting with me and stuff like that. And of course, it flew over my head, but like, they did only start happening until after I lost weight and started working out. And keep in mind, I was in sixth and seventh grade during this. So those people that say it doesn't matter, it does, man. I'm living proof of that. And any other person, male or female or whatever other gender, that go through a transformation like that will like, can confirm, guys. Like, what do you want me to say? And like, look, man, I'm not saying it's right that especially Latinos, like, they'll make a nickname out of your biggest insecurity, but like, it's still kind of motivation. Gotta be honest with you. Like we all have a gordo or gorda or flaco or flaca in our family, right? Skinny or fat one, or fat guy or fat girl. So I mean, yeah, guys, that's my experiences with dieting and working out, and I'm honestly glad I did them because it taught me discipline and it taught me that like I can do hard things. I don't have to use my disability as an excuse, even though I easily could. And that being active is good and being disciplined is good. All right, see you guys. Bye.